Hi there. This is CJ Miller. I'm in my kitchen in Shreveport, Louisiana. Now, earlier today, I talked about a dish I was making on the stove. It's over there. It's I'm over here because my stove is uncovered and looks great. I just plated this up, uh, and it is the pork dish. Now, if I were doing this in French, I would call it escalope de porc und brun. With biscuit, meaning that it is a pork in a brown sauce and a roux. Brun is a roux that is made with the pan dripping rather than a butter. This officially has escalated or has been upgraded, I should say, from a just your basic brown sauce because I've added black pepper. So it has become an au poivre, meaning with pepper, meaning particularly with black pepper, but au poivre with heat or with pepper, usually heat from black pepper. But okay, and so this was just a canned biscuit. Now it was a grand biscuit. Now what I did was I refrigerated them, what I did not use, and put it, I'll just turn it so you can see, but it still cooks up lovely and light, uh, even after being in the fridge in a tightened in a tightened in a refrigerator. And it is really, really great for something like this. It's not, I'm not going to kid you, it's not as lovely and as light as when it would first come out of a can once you do that. And it's been a few days. But, in a moment, I'm going to I'm going to break into it basically and show you it becomes, at this point, uh, almost the texture of you know, a dinner roll versus, versus a biscuit, more of a dinner roll. It creates a thicker density. You can still see the flakes and the layers in between it, everything. So, so it's, the shape is a little different, but it takes on the appearance. And if it were a little bit denser, you could almost think of it in terms of, uh, a dinner roll or something like that. Okay, so in a moment I'm going to cut into this. It's really good. Let me tell you how I've garnished it. I've taken one bay leaf and put here. Uh, I've drizzled some of the pan dripping uh, over this cutlet, just to give it a little splash. I put down a little bit of, if you get in there, you'll see it close enough. It's more obvious if you're looking with your eye. I think the black pepper kind of uh, overshadows it, but basically there is paprika on the plate for garnish, and then the black pepper for flavor. And okay, so if we were doing this in German, this would be a Schweiner Schnitzel, not a Wiener Schnitzel. Uh, a Wiener Schnitzel, uh, by German law, and it's almost a legal decree. I think actually it was at the time. Probably still. I don't think anyone's going to go to jail for this, but I don't know German. They almost took over the world. They're pretty serious about their shit. Twice they almost ruled the world. Okay, so the Schwiener Schnitzel, but it's not really truly Wiener Schnitzel. Uh, it's unless it's let me hold on one second. Let me fact check something. Okay. I want to make sure that I was seeing that right, and I am. So authentic Wiener Schnitzel with the Wiener, Wiener Schnitzel, that is uh, that is veal. In order to authentically call something Wiener Schnitzel, it has to be veal. Otherwise, you're really committing a German crime. I don't know how serious it is, uh, but uh, but a pork schnitzel. Uh, and many German restaurants. I came across it locally in a place called Evie's Schnitzel House or House of Schnitzel. I forget which one, but she took the pork loin and she would beat it out. This is a pork cutlet. Given the same treatment, and actually the tenderizing of the pork is what gives it the schnitzel name, not the breading. That's uh, not all schnitzel is breaded, but it's the tenderization of meat that gives it the schnitzel. And then, in order to be authentic Wiener Schnitzel, it has to be veal. Otherwise, uh, Schweinnitzel or Schweinnitzel, wherever you want to pronounce it, uh, Schweinnitzel, that is the German word for pork schnitzel. And then we have the gravy, the sauce, which French, the brun, which is basically the uh, a plain roux made from the pan drippings. But in any of its form, uh, Bratensub, Bratn. Wait, I'm sucking at this. Let me focus my eyes here. Braten so, and I guess it's I don't know this symbol. I don't know. Let me show you. Yes, I've researched to help brush up on my cuisine. I used to know a lot of this stuff off the top of my head. This symbol, I do not know that. Uh, it's another type of B. Maybe it's their lowercase b. Maybe that's the way they make a lowercase b. I don't know. But there's various words. There are various words, I should say. But Bratensob is what they would. It would be the a gravy, a sauce. Particularly a brown sauce. Uh, and then there's various ways to say it. We have different terms. So they have uh, uh, die Stripe, der Flanschaft, der Duncan, der Bratensaft, der Bratensob, der Sob. I don't know. I'm not really. I mean, I'm German by lineage, but I'm a lot of things by lineage. I'm French by lineage. I am Native American by lineage, and Mexican American by lineage. Just and the fact of the matter is, I don't know anything about any of those cultures because we were such a pale people, that in my family that we were just raised as Caucasian and white and, just basic and generic as possible. So we didn't learn too much about the various aspects. Mostly a lot of Louisiana Creole, French. And we picked some of it up when we were down south living in Amelia, which is right outside of Morgan City, Louisiana. But most of my time I've spent growing up in my childhood education and everything. Most of that took place around Shreveport, Louisiana, and we it's simply uh, everything. We had a lot of integration going on in the workplace and in the school and the market and everything like that. But socially, integration happened a lot slower, and so that kind of stuff I didn't learn a lot about various different cultures. And of course, later on, when in my 20s and stuff, I left Shreveport and went out and kind of toured the world a little bit, and I learned a lot more about various kind of cultures, anything that kind of struck my fancy or whatever. And I learned how to communicate to people with people. And if I wanted to ask, I learned how to do it in kind of a non-offensive, hopefully non-fetishizing sort of way, but just out of real honest, interest and curiosity and invitation for people to talk about their culture, so that, because understanding someone's uh, cultures, their various cultures, their backgrounds and stuff like that, is to understand their nature and their mannerisms, and it's just for better communication. Really, is all that my real interest in that. But I do believe that understanding culture first and foremost always happens in the arts, and food is a big part of that. And even before we branch out and we start getting into different musical styles, or before we branch out and we start looking at different classical bits of art or anything like that that we might want to flip through the books and find, or anything, we really learn uh, our various interests of cultures. We learn that through food, you know cuisine, which is a French word, cuisine. And now we use it to describe every type of food, you know. And that may be, we say Vietnamese cuisine. What the hell did the fucking Vietnamese have to do with French? Except in Louisiana, in South Louisiana, where we have our uh, first, second, and third generations of Vietnamese intermingling with you know Creole French culture, and so we get learn a little bit there, but yeah, whatever. I don't know. How funny. So I've gone on about 12 minutes, and I've talked a lot about this, but I want to taste it. So hold on. So just to show you on this grand biscuit that I have refrigerated for really over a week. You can do that tightly if you don't want to do the whole can, and you're still going to get a light, flaky biscuit with the layers and stuff like that. This is the layers. I love the layers. You don't have to get the ones with the layer, but if you do, they're delicious. So they will hold their layers, and I can tell you, they'll hold their other things. So in the first part of this video, when I was actually doing the prepping instead of the eating, I actually talked about how to make a biscuit. 1 part flour, self-rising, 1/2 moisture, preferably milk, and 1/4 of the fat, preferably butter or oil. But you can do something else. You can use mayo, which is mostly oil. It's whipped oil, so it's even better. It's even lighter. So, but I'm going to come back and cut into this cutlet in a second. Oh, yes, you can't do a video about either a pork, what did I call this thing? Pork, something, de porc, escalope de porc. I literally, reminds me of the Swedish chef. Escalope de porc, the silver. Yeah, but the Swedish chef from the Muppets. Always my favorite Muppet. Always. But you cannot do this. You cannot do a pork cutlet with some sauce and just not. And you can make this sauce as thin as you need to. You can add a little bit water. Add a little bit more water, and it'll spread a little more. When you take it off the heat, it will thicken. Sauces have a tendency to do that. But yeah, let me just taste this. This is freaking delicious already, just smelling it. That is some savory goodness right there. And just a little bit of this pepper that I put down on the plate. I didn't, and I used the pepper, and I just kind of did it, I didn't dash it all over. I don't ever want to take my food and put it in so much uh, under so much condiment that I cannot taste the flavor. Uh, there, I did not use salt because there was